What's good, y'all? Boom morning and good yearning. Happy Weird Wednesday. This is Jam I am, and I'm inside of the booth. And I'm reporting the news live here at V89, WVFS, the voice of Florida State. I need to change my. Where are my unicorns at today? DJ Camila in our booth right now. And we about to get into the top stories. All right, look, y'all. So you know what I do. I like to switch it up. Shout out to all the newsies. We got something called the Slug Sheet, and that is reporting, keeping a log of all the stories that we report when it's time for our shift. Now, shout out to all the newsies. But it's just a lot more to news than politics. I know these days they get blurred. So what I like to do, Jam, I like to switch it up and give a variety of falling in that same line, itinerary of international, national, state, and local. Thank you, DJ Camila, and gracias. And I have about a minute. So I like to switch it up, you know what I mean? Do a little tech. We got a little tech in there. We got some immigration issues. We want to report on that. State news, there's a new garbage incinerator decision that's being made in Miami-Dade bars. And last but not least, we're going to talk about a merger of FSU and a Tallahassee hospital. So, let's switch it up. I mean, Trump obviously is going to get mentioned. Like, obviously, come on now. He the king of the news. He the king of broadcast these days. You know what I mean? Grandpa. So, just like to switch it up and... But we about to... Gracias. But we about to get into it, y'all. Tune in on V89. I am Jam. We're about to get into it. Yeah, I can't hear this. Quite literally, you can't. Sorry. Good morning. This is Jam for V89 News. In global news, AP News reports that OpenAI has introduced its own web browser, Atlas, on Tuesday, October 21st, putting the ChatGPT maker in direct competition with Google as more internet users rely on artificial intelligence to answer their questions. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman called it a, quote, rare, once-a-decade opportunity to rethink what a browser can be about and how to use one, unquote. OpenAI has said ChatGPT has more than 800 million users, but many of them get it for free. The San Francisco-based company also sells paid subscriptions, but is losing more money than it makes and has been looking for ways to turn a profit. But analyst Patty Harrington of market research group Forrester said it will be a big challenge, quote, competing with a giant who has ridiculous market share, unquote. OpenAI's browser is coming out just a few months after one of its executives testified that the company would be interested in buying Google's industry-leading Chrome browser if a federal judge had required it to be sold to prevent the abuses that resulted in Google's ubiquitous search engine being declared an illegal monopoly. Reliance on AI chatbots to summarize information collected online has raised several concerns, including the technology's tendency to confidently spout false information, a problem known as hallucination. OpenAI said Atlas launched on Tuesday, October 21st, on Apple laptops and will later come to Microsoft's Windows, Apple's iOS phone operating system, and Google's Android operating systems. In national news, immigrant rights group, the American Civil Liberties Union, calls for removing pregnant women from detention. The letter, sent to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, gives accounts from pregnant women who say they were shackled while being transported, placed in solitary confinement for multiple days, and given insufficient food and water while held in detention facilities in Louisiana and Georgia. In an interview with the Associated Press, one of the women said she was kept in handcuffs while being transported to Louisiana, a journey that lasted 5 hours and spanned 2 plane rides. The woman, who has since been released from custody and given birth, spoke on the condition of anonymity out of fear of facing retaliation during her ongoing case. The Department of Homeland Security has defended the care given to pregnant detainees, saying they are given regular prenatal visits and nutritional support. The agency did not immediately provide figures on the number of pregnant women in detention, as Democrats have demanded. The Department of Homeland Security has said that pregnant detainees receive regular prenatal visits, mental health services, nutritional support, and accommodations, quote, aligned with community standards of care, unquote. In state news, in a surprise vote Tuesday, county commissioners set a December date for preliminary approval of a site for building an incinerator plant for burning about half of Miami-Dade's garbage, trash that's currently being sent by truck and train to landfills as far away as Central Florida. The old incinerator in Doral that was shut down by a fire in early 2023, the new waste-to-energy facility would burn trash to create electricity. The Miami Herald reports that in July, commissioners voted to have Levine Cava start negotiating potential deals with both consortiums, Florida Power Line and FCC, a global trash processing conglomerate based in Madrid, but did not give a deadline at that time. In the same vote, commissioners declared 2 possible incinerator sites to be off limits moving forward. Those included the Doral site of the county's former incinerator plant, which President Donald Trump's family vowed to fight because of its proximity to a Trump golf resort, and an Idle County airfield near the Broward County line that's opposed by nearby Miramar. It's not clear which sites FPL or FCC might pitch to Miami-Dade, or what costs would be involved in the county has to pay for constructing a new incinerator and acquiring private land to house it. There's also the issue of finding a location that won't bring with it another set of built-in opponents. Quote, "We don't know what sites they've chosen," unquote, Commissioner Raquel Regalado said of FPL and FCC. Quote, "But that's going to be the most polemic piece of that," unquote. After the meeting, Levine Cava said a future incinerator could also be built outside of Miami-Dade County. Quote, "We are renewing conversations with other counties," unquote. Quote, "If there's an opportunity to collaborate, we will," unquote. And lastly, in local news, Tallahassee pastor Reverend R.B. Holmes and the Tallahassee branch of the NAACP are at opposite ends of a controversial proposal to sell Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare's assets to Florida State University, just hours before the city commissioners were called on to decide the fate of the local healthcare in the capital city. Quote, "We strongly believe that the merger between Florida State University and Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare represents a tremendous and transformative opportunity to establish a world-class teaching hospital that will save thousands of lives and help defeat devastating diseases," unquote, Holmes said in a prepared statement. Meanwhile, the Tallahassee branch of the NAACP stands in, quote, "firm opposition to the proposed transfer of control of Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare to Florida State University," unquote, according to its statement released this morning. Quote, "The Tallahassee NAACP is deeply concerned that FSU's assumption of control over TMH and marginalized FAMU's renowned Ally Health, nursing, and pharmacy programs by limiting access to clinical and internship opportunities necessary for graduation and accreditation. We also fear that FSU's growing ambitions in health education may eventually extend to taking over or absorbing FAMU's health programs, continuing a troubling pattern in which the state's historically black university loses resources and opportunities to its larger neighborhood," unquote. City commissioners are poised to advance the proposal sale at today's meeting at City Hall, which includes a public hearing at 6 p.m. That's all the news for this hour. I'm Jam, and you're listening to WVFS Tallahassee, the voice of Florida State. Oh my God. Weird Wednesday. Look, that was a long cast, but I had a lot to say. All right, happy Weird Wednesday. Y'all stay informed and stay weird. Here's my Weird Wednesday look. Isn't weird? All right, y'all. Yeah, I'm out of here. There you go. Boom. Okay.